Hey, this is Tim Ripper Owens.
This is Vicky Sarakis from The Agonist.
What's up? This is Parker Jameson from the band Starkill.
Hi, this is Ida from Trisphere.
Hey, this is Dan.
And this is Brett from Revocation.
And thank you for listening to The Great Metal Debate.
Podcast is back. We're excited to be joined in Nashville, or should I say Thrashville, with Ben from Goatwhore. Ben, we so appreciate you taking the time to join us on the Great Metal Debate podcast.
Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Again, we're in Nashville, where Goatwhore is about to perform at the end. It was just last summer when Goatwhore was in Nashville performing on the date of the release of your most recent album, Constricting Rage of the Merciless. What has the last year been like for you guys?
Pretty busy. Pretty busy. I mean, we've been on the road a lot. Europe, States, back to Europe, Australia. And then, we got back from Europe right at the beginning of May, did some shows throughout the weekends in May, and actually flew back to England near the end of May to do Temples Festival, and came back home and then started this tour. So it's been pretty go on so far. It's like a year ago on July 8th was when the record came out last.
Yeah, you were right across the street there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, that's quite a record. I had Constricting Rage among my top 10 metal albums of 2014. Looking back, with a year's time performing those songs, are you all pleased with the product and the response from fans and critics?
Yeah. I mean, we're pleased with everything that, went on with the whole record and everything. And then we're getting a lot of really good feedback on music and the live setting and just in general, even people that haven't, come across the record, like on this tour, you'd come across people that might not ever heard the band, and they came to see the band because either they were fans of like Black Breath or Ringworm, and then they were like, wow, this, is really cool. I'm going to actually dig up some of your stuff and everything. And that's what's cool about these kind of tours. You bring out fans from these different bands, even our fans coming out and checking out Black Breath, Ringworm, and Theories, and, it kind of intermingles in a sense. But overall, it's been getting really good feedback, and I mean, when we work on records, we're not writing for, nothing against fans, but we're not writing for that. We're writing for ourselves, really. We want to impress ourselves before releasing anything that we just want to stick. We're not just going to stick out anything out there. So we do that, and then when everything else falls into place, I guess it's like a bonus.
Absolutely. And speaking of those fans who might not be familiar with you folks, give them a little feel for how you would explain Goatwhore's music to the folks who haven't seen you. And no excuse for them, because you guys tour so much, they should have already seen you.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, I think with the modern thing of everything that goes on with the internet, different things like Spotify and Google Music and everything like that, where people can check things out, I really don't think there's too much of an excuse to say you haven't heard a band in general, because you can just go check it out. I never really figured that out nowadays. When I was younger, we really didn't have that kind of access. So you bought something, it was a 50-50 chance you either liked it or you don't. Now, before you even go buy it, you can go actually see what's happening, listen to it online. You can even see videos on YouTube and everything, because people shoot videos and kind of check it out. I think we are definitely more of a live band. We come across better live than on record, and I think we'll never be able to capture that on record, because the live setting is a more intimate and intense kind of layout. So, but if anything, I just tell people, whatever anyone has to tell you, like if they want to put us in some kind of category and you're not really into that quote unquote category, sometimes you just have to go overlook it and just go check the band out, because I mean, it's access is free everywhere. So
absolutely. Well, one way I would characterize your all's music is lyrically complex. I want to ask you a little bit about that. First, with the style of music and the lyrics that you write, where you're not repeating a lot, not a lot of choruses as such, do you ever forget any lyrics on stage, or
I slip? I mean, I'm only human, right? So I slip places, things like that. But I mean, it's also extreme metal. Usually people don't understand what you're saying anyway. But yeah, I mean, we practice a lot and everything. But then there's them nights where whatever. Just maybe it's a little too fun and you get caught up in the moment and you might skip a line, not necessarily skip a line, but a line kind of slips away or something like that. But overall, it's pretty solid in the majority of the time. You know, we go over a lot of things a lot. So, and sometimes if I feel like I'm at a show and, you know, the night before I felt like that I had a little issue remembering something, or like I had a brain fart or whatever, I just listen to, you know, I'll break out the song and listen to it again and kind of go back over it again, just to kind of refresh, you know. Because, yeah, we're doing this on a daily basis, but, you know, anything's possible.
And you can tell the hardcore fans, because those are the ones who are singing along with you and know those lyrics.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
And so tell me a little more about those lyrics, just kind of where do you get your inspiration?
It's a mixture of all kinds of different things. I mean, even, you know, if you look at songs like Apocalyptic Havoc, all the way to like a song like Judgment and a Bleeding Crown, Apocalyptic Havoc is more like a kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of idea of old traditional kind of metal and mixing up different ideas with those things. And then Judgment's more delving into deeper things that, you know, have interest me in a lyrical content. You know, I've always been into like the dark arts and things like that, and I guess the macabre, depraved things in life. But they, you know, they interest me, and I like to dig into them and read about them, and then from there kind of write them down on paper, you know, get my own perceptions, ideas, and kind of put them all and mix them in. Even, you know, different ideas and different religions and things like that, and kind of blend that into the whole cycle as well. So it's a mixture of a kind of like literature. I guess some of it is fictitious as well, you know, of course, but, you know, it's everything's kind of mixed up because that's, you know, it's like basically the spawn of the mind, you know, just building all these ideas and everything kind of going off from that element.
Do you keep like a journal of
I do write
lyrics?
down, like, even when we're not working on stuff, you know, ideas will pop up and I write it down, and I just kind of keep a collective thing of all these ideas that I go back to. There's some songs when we are writing where I'll just start dead from scratch and write all the lyrics, and there's some songs where I kind of plagiarize from myself. Like I go back through all the older stuff that I've written down, and I pull lines and make up a song with it. So it'll be a mixture of lines that I feel represent the topic of that song, and then put them all together and then like piece by piece, and then some of it's like fresh off the grid. So,
but you also have some ingredients sitting around that you pull from time to time.
Yeah. And definitely I do like when I get into a spot where I feel like maybe I'm up against a wall and I just can't get over it, I'll like step back and I'll just start reading things and, you know, researching things, and it'll kind of open it up a little more, and then that whole idea kind of opens up a bit more.
Cool. Well, Ben, you referenced some of the other bands supporting you on this current North American tour, Ringworm, Black Breath Theories. What's been the response to the lineup so far?
The response has been amazing on this whole tour. It's really been intense. It's every band, I mean, I can't even say, you know, like we're coming to the end of this tour, and anybody who just decided, oh, well, you know, I'll skip the show, I think you really missed out, you know. So for the last 3 shows, like Nashville tonight, tomorrow Columbia, South Carolina, and then Atlanta, Georgia on Sunday, it's like, if you have any doubt, like if you have any kind of thing where you're like, oh, well, I might go, you should go, because every one of these bands is kicking ass on it, you know, I like it too, because being the band that's last, it's like you definitely can't sit back that night. You definitely can't, you know, be laxed whatsoever, because each one of these bands is pushing you to the hilt of, I better get up there and perform equally as good, otherwise we won't look good at all, because they're all kicking ass. So I'm really stoked with all the bands that have been on this tour with us. You know, we really, when we put this thing together, we were really focused on, we had a list of bands we went through, and we were picking bands and seeing who could do it and who couldn't do it, and everything kind of fell into place for this tour. You know, we wanted bands that were more, not necessarily exactly the same as us, but the extremity level of what we do as well. Sure. And, you know, we wanted that kind of idea in a tour package, and it worked out really well. I mean, the feedback overall at every show is just astonishing. It's just crazy.
Awesome. Speaking of other bands with other styles, you all toured North America a couple of years back with 3 Inches of Blood, which recently disbanded. I wonder, you know, just from your perspective, having toured so long, being part of a band for so long, is there some secret to a metal band surviving over the years, or does some of it just come down to hard work plus luck?
I think it's a little mixture of all kinds of things, man. Some of it is I think some of it is luck, the right place at the right time, how things do. and then like I guess your records come out at the right place, right time. You know, I mean, it's definitely something you can't control. You can't sit here and say, this is what we're going to do, this is how it's going to happen, and this is how everything's going to turn out. To me, it's like you just have to do it, and not being negative, but don't expect the highest peak there. Just go do it and enjoy what you're doing. And then whatever you reap from it from that point, you know, whatever happens, then that should be the bonus. You know, you should kind of go in as like, I'm this band, we're in this band, we write this material, this is what we like to do. And then when you go do it, and everything else that falls into place that's, you know, positive, builds the band to a higher level, should be considered like, wow, this is awesome. This is, you know, bringing us to a total different level, you know. So, and, you know, as far as like bands breaking up and stuff like that, it's like, it could happen to us. It could happen to any band. You know, you get to certain points, and the feelings of everyone just aren't on the same par anymore. Things aren't working out the same anymore. I mean, this is a tough business for extreme metal. You know, it is. Everything you have to go through with the touring and managements and labels and things like that. And everybody thinks they have the right idea and the right plan, and you're trying to make things work properly, you know, and it's like, it's definitely a hard thing. And I have to say, not to be cruel, but there's a lot of people in this business that aren't in the bands that think they know how this runs, and they don't know how it runs. You know, and I'm saying that because I've been doing it for so long, you know, and I have been at the helm of taking care of a lot of things with the band, you know, and being in the position to make sure certain things happen a certain way for the band because it's needed that way. And there's a lot of people that are in the industry that don't have a clue, you know, and it sucks because then they do lead some of these bands into the wrong direction, and what happens is they do break up or they do crumble apart and things like that. And it's just not, you know, they need more people involved that know what it's about. And not only that, they need to understand that this isn't a huge money-making business, so don't try to come in here and squeeze blood out of a stone, you know. We're all working and being in these vans and sleeping in these vans and this heat too, you know, and just doing it because that's what we do. That's what we've been doing for years. That's just how it is. You know, when you see bands like Lamb of God, Slipknot, yes, they're at the peak of what's going on in the scene. But all these bands on this level, it's a whole different level, man. It's a whole different thing. It's a struggle, but it's also something that everyone enjoys doing. Otherwise, you know, they all wouldn't be out there. I mean, who would torment themselves for that kind of if they didn't enjoy the piece of the music that they were providing and doing on a daily basis?
Yeah, drive from Washington, D.C. to Nashville one day in the heat of the summer. That's impressive, man.
Yeah. I mean, you just kind of go through those things, you know. Sometimes, like, at some points, you don't even wish that you had money. You just wish you had, like, a room with AC and a shower, and then you got happy from that point.
Maybe helps you appreciate the simple things in life.
Yeah, it does. It really does, man. Cool.
Well, starting to wrap up with you, Ben. After this North American tour is complete in a few days, what's next for Goatwhore, and maybe when can fans expect a follow-up to Constricting Rage for the Merciless?
Let's see. We actually have stuff throughout the rest of this year, all the way until the end. So, as far as like touring and stuff goes, we're going to be doing Warbecue in August. Okay, and we didn't make it last year. It kind of sucked actually. We were supposed to do it, and it was all definitely revolved around Dave Brocky big time last year. But our alternator went out en route, and we were getting it fixed. And once we got it fixed, we got back on the road, and there was tons of traffic on the highway, and we didn't even get to Richmond until like later that evening. And the whole thing was over. So first, I'm not going to apologize to people that came to see us because one, it wasn't my fault or any of ours fault. We don't know when the alternator or anything's going to go out on the vehicle that we own. Things happen, you know. The only thing I can say is, you know, I'm sorry if you came just to see us and we weren't there, but we weren't trying to not make it. We definitely wanted to make it because we wanted to be a part of that situation. Everything that it was based on, everything that it was representing, and everything last year. So this year, I mean, we're even planning to go there, like, get to Richmond the morning before that, just so we're there. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely want to do it. We definitely need to, in a sense, redeem ourselves for that. But if anybody wants to rebuttal us having a alternator go out, I'll pull out the paperwork and you can see it from last year, and I'll show it to you. And I'll show you pictures of the interstate when I took a picture of the highway and we're sitting in dead-ass traffic not being able to move. But so we're doing that. And then from there, and I think we're going to do a few shows around that. Like after it, we're going to do some shows to get back home. And then we don't have anything going in September. In October, we're going to do that Knot Fest out in California. It's like Judas Priest, Slayer. It's a whole bunch of man. It's 2 days. And then we have another tour that we're going to be doing in late November to December, but I can't say anything about it. We're going out to support somebody. But
Awesome.
I'm sure that eventually in the next month and a half, 2 months, they'll probably announce it.
Folks should keep their eyes on the interwebs for that announcement.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then, and as far as writing, February, we weren't doing anything. We kind of got together and we got like 2.5 songs kind of put into the box. And I guess, we'll probably throw around some ideas during the rest of this year and then really kind of sit down and start working on things early part of next year, possibly go in the studio mid to late next year, Okay. I don't like to give solid times because we don't put pressures on ourselves with that kind of stuff. We just kind of we write until we are happy with everything, and then it's just like, all right, we need a set studio time, and then we go with it.
You're not going to arbitrarily say we're going to do this, this, and this to just spit out a record.
Yeah. We just don't. We've never operated like that. So why change things now?
So finally, wrapping up with you, Ben. What are the best ways for fans to access music and merchandise from Goatwhore?
The internet. We have a website. It's www.goatwhore.net, and it's not really like fancy or anything, but it gives links to like web stores that carry some of our merch. It gives links to like iTunes. It gives links to Metal Blade Records, which puts out our records. It gives links to indie merch who sells Metal Blade stuff like the shirts and the CDs, and then it gives links to Rotten Records, who has our first 2 records. So there's a lot of links. It's pretty much just a lot of links of everything that you need to look for us, whether it be music, merchandise, things like that. So that's probably the best place. And of course we have Facebook too, like everybody, but there's links on there for the Facebook page too. So if you just go to goatwhore.net, everything's pretty much there to kind of chase down everything else. So
you've got the CDs and T-shirts at the live shows as well.
Yeah, we got everything when we're on tour.
Well, I want to encourage fans to definitely check out Goatwhore live. If you can't do that, definitely purchase their latest album, Constricting Rage of the Merciless. Buy that. It is great. Again, I have it on my top 10 metal albums of the past year, and it's just rising up that list every time I listen to it. Ben, thank you so much. So appreciate talking with you, and best luck the rest of the tour.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.